Hey guys, I just was out and about and really felt led to just come and share my testimony. I will do that. Will just be a little car video. I'm not sure how long it'll be, but I'm just going to speak as the Holy Spirit leads and just share with you my journey, and how I got to know Christ and began walking with Him. So I will go back to my childhood. I was raised in just a typical, I think, middle class family in Wisconsin. Christian home. I attended church from the time I was born, basically, from the time I can remember. I was a member of the Lutheran Church. My family was. And I was baptized as a baby into that church. And so I don't even remember a time not hearing about Jesus or about God or about Jesus dying on the cross for my sins. Like, literally, I can't remember a time where I didn't know that Jesus died for me. Like, I genuinely, I can't. Which I feel very blessed that I actually don't know a life before knowing who Jesus is. However, I will get into kind of more of that a little bit later. But anyways, it was a pretty typical good childhood. Went to church often, went to a Lutheran school from the time I was in preschool all the way through high school. So that whole time I received a Christian education. Again, I feel very blessed to have received that. And just always knowing Jesus in a sense, at least knowing who he was, who he is, knowing that he died for me. I always had that knowledge. So that's my background. So we'll jump forward now to, I guess, after graduating high school, moving to high school, we moved to Texas, my family and I. And that was so difficult for me. That was like one of the most difficult times in my life, probably. It was actually the summer before my senior year. So I didn't even graduate high school at the school I'd been going to. I was pretty much homeschooled that final year because I just couldn't go switch a school. It was just too hard for me. So I was homeschooled that year and it was just so hard. It was so hard. And then shortly after we moved, my parents got divorced, which just added to the pain. And it was a extremely difficult time. I remember just feeling so broken, and to be honest, I don't remember a whole lot of details from that time period, just because I think I was so traumatized and dissociated, basically. But I don't remember details really, but I remember how broken I was, how deeply in pain I was, and I just felt so unseen and unheard. And I remember knowing, I guess, during that time, I was going to church. I had started going to a Baptist church then in Texas because there were really no Lutheran churches by where I was. And so I went to some counseling with the pastor, and I knew that God was with me. But I just didn't feel, I don't know, my faith was shaky at the time. And actually, I don't even know if I can say shaky. It was kind of more that it just felt non-existent. I wasn't even really thinking about God. I was just thinking about my pain, really. And then just being angry at everyone and everything. I was going through that phase. And then I went off to college, and I started out at a Lutheran college also. So again, starting back with the Christian education right away, I went to Lutheran college for less than a year. Because during that time, I think I started to realize the things I was learning about God in my Lutheran education weren't necessarily accurate. When I was attending the Baptist church, I started learning more and more, I think, about God's love, his love and who he is, that I'd never learned before, really. It shook me up a little bit. So I took that with me to this college that I was going to, and some things they were teaching wasn't sitting right in my spirit. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And I got a little pushback if I would voice those concerns. And so I just felt it was time to leave. It was time to leave that college. So I transferred and I went back to public school in Texas, and I was closer to my family anyways there. So it was a good change. Like, I really feel like I started to thrive in a sense. In a way, I started to heal from the divorce. I think I was closer to my family, kind of out on my own. I really loved the school I was going to. I still have so much love for that school to this day. It was just a very good time. And then as I was kind of getting into my groove at this new school, life just took a turn again, and my dad passed away. He wasn't doing well for a while in many ways, but when he passed, it was unexpected to me. It really caught me off guard, and it just devastated me, like to my core, devastated me. And I just didn't even know what to do with myself. And again, I don't remember a whole lot of details from that, but I do remember just being absolutely shaken up. That was when I think my life really changed. It's like between the divorce and then my dad passing, it's like, okay, now I know pain. Now I know real pain. And I just went through so much depression. Like, the depression I experienced during that time was the worst. I was extremely down, and I just couldn't function at all. I was hospitalized like once for it. Probably could have been hospitalized more just for the way I was feeling. I just wanted my life to end. Like, that's all I could think about is I just want this to end. I just want this to end. And again, honestly, I still wasn't thinking a whole lot about God. I was going to some Christian fellowships on the college campus and that kind of thing. But I wasn't walking with him at all. I would pray, but I wasn't there, wasn't present, was not walking with him, really thinking about him at all. I was just so enveloped in this pain I was feeling. And it was hard. And then I graduated. I managed to graduate college, which I still is by the grace of God, because I struggled my way through that last period. And I graduated in December. My dad had passed in February. So those months up from my dad's death to graduation were horrid. Horrid. But I'm proud that I managed to graduate. So that was good. I'm very thankful for wonderful professors who helped me get to that point and guided me through that point, because without them, I wouldn't have. They really were so supportive of me and just helping me make up assignments and all of that. Anything I needed, it's just so helpful. So anyways, I graduated. And then the details are fuzzy. For the next several years, to be honest, I was still struggling. I was heartbroken. I was so depressed. I ended up moving back from Texas to Wisconsin. I lived with my grandparents for a while and was just working. I got a job. Was trying to get my life back to some semblance of normal. After that heartbreak of grief, and it was tough, and I was searching for something. anything, something or anything to make me feel better. And well, I never got into drugs or alcohol, and I believe fully that was God's protection, because had I been able to drink without an allergy, like I'm allergic to alcohol, and like the couple times I have tried anything besides alcohol, like drugs, like I did not feel well at all. Like I hated it. So never got like hooked on it. I tried, but I never ever like got hooked on it. I'm so grateful. Again, God's protection. Even when I wasn't walking with him, I know he was there protecting me. And while I wasn't involved in that, I did end up getting involved in New Age. And that was an experience. I ended up getting involved because, as I mentioned, I was looking for anything to make me feel better. And I thought, I wonder, I never really believed in mediums, I don't think, before this point. I never thought about it. But I was like, I wonder. That seed was planted after my dad passed, and I missed him so badly. And I was like, I wonder, like, if this is real. And so I saw a medium. And that's when the doors just swung wide open, right into New Age, right into demonic oppression, even though I had no idea I was experiencing that. But that was the open door. And I went from being involved with mediums to like tarot cards. Those are the biggest things, which are very big things. But I thought, even then I thought, okay, like it did make me feel better. I won't lie at all. It did make me feel better. I felt, okay, like there is a way I can like communicate with my dad. There is a way. And all the while, it didn't start immediately, but after like a couple times of seeing a medium, it didn't take long. I was starting to experience like sleep paralysis and nightmares and just waking up to like weird sensations around me and like just really weird things. And I never thought anything of it. And then soon enough, my like whole apartment was just off the walls, like haunted, and I had no idea why, and I like couldn't get rid of the stuff. And the things I saw and experienced are wild, and I won't even get into that right now because it's crazy stuff. I guess if you want more stories on some of the stuff I experienced, I'd be happy to share. But I'll leave that for now. It's not that important. But it was crazy stuff, and I never made the connection at the time that it was because I had opened a door to the demonic. Like I had no idea what I was doing was demonic, or that it was like against God. Honestly, I saw it more as like a neutral. Like I didn't necessarily think God was in it, but I didn't think it was like anything dark or wrong or bad. In fact, I was like, oh, like all the Christians who are saying this is wrong, they don't know what they're talking about. They've never tried it, or they've never experienced what I'm experiencing. It's so beautiful and great and wonderful. And I would just think, I bought into the lie, basically, that, it's so typical, but bought into the lie that God was like withholding from us, like withholding information, and that I had the truth, that God never wanted us to know, and that God was just like cruel for like withholding this, and that he was arrogant, and just all these horrible lies I believed that the enemy was feeding to me, and I had no idea. And I was stuck in this trap, this cycle, for years, probably from like 2015, 2016. I think it was probably about 2016, all the way through like 2020. I'm grateful it wasn't longer than that, but still, it was 4 years, way too long. So 2020 came, and I feel like this is common for a lot of people I've seen, that 2020 was like an eye-opening year where God really got people's attention. And he got mine. And it all started when the job I had in the city. I had this great job in the city. And it just all fell apart. I had this beautiful apartment, and it just got taken from me, and I had to move back in with my brother and sister-in-law and my little niece, and I got really sick with some like bronchial infection, and I was just questioning everything. And then, like everyone else, like COVID hit, and when COVID hit was when I really woke up and God got my attention. But prior to this, even like before I had to move back home, there were little things like I could sense him really around me sometimes. Like, Lindsay, don't do this. You're not supposed to be partaking in these things. Like, don't do this, honey. Like, come back to me. But I ignored it until I couldn't anymore. And I ended up watching a testimony video. It came across my YouTube out of nowhere, of this girl just talking about how she left New Age, how she came out of New Age, was delivered from New Age, from Jesus, and turned to Jesus. And the thing she was talking about, like how actually evil and wicked it is, it just resonated within my spirit so strongly, and that was all I needed. That was it. After seeing that, I ditched everything. Like, I threw out my tarot cards, like, got rid of them, got rid of every New Age thing that I had, like, all the crystals, all, like, everything. I got rid of it all, and I never looked back. I'm so thankful. That was all I needed. And from there, I started working on my relationship with God, where I started getting in the Word, reading the Word again, and yeah, I was just so in love with him. Like, for the first time, I got to know who he truly was. And it wasn't like anything I had ever learned about God. Just the sheer magnitude of his love for us, I can't even explain. And I remember one night I was in my room praying and praying and crying and just saying, God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I've betrayed you. And I felt this presence of pure love come over me, and just this comfort. And I just stopped crying and just was so at peace. And like, that love, I think it made me realize that if we all felt like the sheer magnitude of his love for us, like, I don't think we could handle it. Like, it's that intense. Like, I think it would take us out. Like, if we knew the actual depths of his love for us. And so, yeah, I was just getting to know him and walk with him, and starting to understand kind of where I come from, and starting to get an understanding of, okay, like, this is where I'm going. I'm walking with Jesus now. And I gave my life to him, like, fully surrendered my life to him at that time. And from 2020 to now has been quite a journey. And my testimonies aren't over yet, because I'm realizing I think every believer has a series of testimonies. Because after New Age, I really fell into more like legalism and all these different things. All these different teachings within Christianity that weren't accurate. And he delivered me from all of them, and just finally rooted me. It took some time, but he finally rooted me in like the truth of the gospel, and being secure in that truth of my salvation, giving me the assurance of my salvation, and teaching me how to walk with him and be a good disciple and live for him and work for him, and like step into my calling and do what he's calling me to do. And so that has been still a journey. It's still a journey. I'm still walking that journey. We all are. all walking that journey until the day we reach heaven, but just finally walking with him and stepping into that calling, just thinking about even talking about this now, where I was and where I am now, like how much true peace I have now that I never had before, like true peace, is unbelievable. Like, even though things are hard sometimes, life is hard. Life is hard, but also the refining process that he's brought me through, the purifying process, those are hard things to go through. But the difference is that we're walking through it with him now. I'm walking through it with him now. I've got him. And there's peace. Even though it's hard, there's peace and there's still joy. It's everlasting joy because he is right there walking through it with us, walking through the fire, comforting us, caring for us, loving us, protecting us, sending us the right people. Like, he has sent me two of the most amazing friends and sisters in Christ I could ever ask for. I never had that kind of friendship in the world when I was out in New Age. Never. And he's just been so kind to me, even though the past 4 years have been really, really hard. His kindness and getting to know his heart for me and his love for me, and just knowing that better and being solid in that has been incredible. Like, it's boosted my own confidence, and not in myself necessarily, but in him. It's through him, like knowing that he created me fearfully and wonderfully, and that I have him living within me. Therefore, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. There's nothing I can't do without him, with him by my side. And it's such a blessing. And I'm just so grateful for all he's done in my life and is still doing in my life. Writing books, writing poetry, like music, and all these little giftings he is continuing to actually give me and call out of me and bring forth in me to share with the world now is just incredible. And all I can say is that if you're resonating with any of this, there is something so much better out there for you than New Age and tarot cards and mediums and astrology and whatever else you may be involved in. There's something so much greater, and that is Jesus. It's Jesus. He is so much greater than any of that. And even though I know, like, when I was in New Age, I really thought I was happy. I thought I did have joy and peace, and I didn't. I was tortured, and I didn't even realize I was being tortured, but I was. You just can't know true peace and true joy. The fruits of the Spirit, you can't know any of it without Jesus. And so, if you resonate with that, I would just invite you today to call out to Jesus. Ask him to reveal himself to you. If you're doubting, if you're not sure, if you don't believe it, but you're curious at all, if there's any part of you that is curious, I invite you to just call out to him. Like, you can't go wrong. There's nothing you can lose by just calling out and asking for him. And I promise you, like, there is a better life out there, and it is with Jesus. With Jesus Christ. He not only walks with you in this life, but you receive eternal life. Once you've believed in him and what he's done for you on the cross, that he died on the cross to save you for eternity. And there's nothing you have to do to earn that salvation. Once you believe, you are ready. You're heaven bound. And that can't be taken from you. It's a gift, a free gift, and it's the most beautiful gift. And once you've known his love and felt his love, you will never be able to look back. You'll look back and realize, just like me, that you never truly had true joy and peace and happiness. Apart from Christ, it's just impossible. And I'm just praying for each of you who watches this video, whether you already know Jesus or whether you want to know Jesus or whether you just reject him and want nothing to do with him. Whoever you are, I just pray for you, and I pray that he will work in your life and reveal himself. And yeah, I'm just anticipating everything he'll do in and through you also. So I think that's all. That's where I will leave you for now. It's been a long enough video, but thank you so much for watching and listening to my testimony. And I do pray it'll help someone somewhere, or just even give you an idea of where I've been and how I got to where I am now. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and have a great day, guys. God bless.